Update Young and the Restless Spoilers Shock. Welcome back to our channel, fellow Genoa City addicts. Today is a beautiful, sunny Friday, but my mood is absolutely stormy after watching the latest drama unfold. Grab your coffee or your wine, because we have a massive mess to unpack together. I cannot believe they just did that. I am literally shaking with anger typing this right now because what in the actual world is wrong with Billy Abbott? I mean, we all know he has a track record of being the absolute worst when it comes to prioritizing the women in his life. But this takes the entire cake, smashes it on the floor, and sets it on fire. I just finished watching the latest episode, and I am so incredibly furious I could scream at my television. So, let's just get right into it, because I need to vent. And I know you guys in the forums are the only ones who will truly understand my absolute and filtered rage right now. And before I even explain the absolute train wreck that just happened, can we just talk about how Sally Spectra deserves so much better than this constant emotional roller coaster? I've been watching this show religiously since 2015, and I have seen some garbage men do some garbage things on daytime television. But Billy ignoring his pregnant girlfriend while she is literally collapsing in pain. Trash, absolute, undeniable trash. Okay, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. My blood pressure is spiking. Let me back up and break down exactly what went down, because my brain is still spinning from the sheer audacity of it all. So, Sally finally gets back from her exhausting business trip. She's tired, she's pregnant, she's hormonal, and she just wants to come home to a supportive, loving partner. She wants a safe haven. But what does she walk into? Oh, just the tiny little detail that Billy has unilaterally decided to launch a full-scale corporate war to take over Chancellor. He didn't consult her. He didn't ask for her opinion. He didn't even give her a heads up. He just went full reckless Billy boy and started a massive feud that is guaranteed to drag the entire Abbott and Newman families into a corporate bloodbath. Because of course he did. Billy cannot just be happy. He cannot just sit still and be a supportive partner. He always has to prove something, usually to Victor Newman or to his own deep-seated insecurities, and he completely sidelines Sally in the process. I mean, am I the only one who is so incredibly sick of this endless cycle with Billy? Remember when they tried this exact same reckless corporate cowboy storyline with him and Victoria years ago? Remember how many times he gambled away his family's trust? Yeah, didn't work then either. He always thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, but he is literally just a giant man-child playing with billions of dollars to soothe his ego. And Sally, who has worked so hard to build her own life, who just wants some stability after everything she has been through, is now violently dragged into this mess. The stress of realizing that the man she is trusting to be the father of her child is actively blowing up their peaceful life, it was way too much. You could literally see the color drain from her face the second she realized what he had done. But that isn't even the worst part. Oh no, it gets so much worse. The worst part is the severe physical toll it took on her. The sheer panic and stress of Billy's betrayal caused Sally to experience sudden, severe stomach pains. Guys, I was holding my breath during this entire scene. I was gripping the edge of my couch. We all know her history. We all remember the absolute devastation of losing baby Ava. That storyline broke my heart into a million pieces, and seeing Sally double over in pain, clutching her stomach, terrified out of her mind that she is losing another baby. It was physically painful to watch. The trauma on her face was so real. And what is Billy doing while the mother of his child is in agony? He is ignoring her calls. I am not exaggerating. I was yelling at my screen. Pick up the phone, Billy. Sally is desperately calling him, tears streaming down her face, panicking that something is horribly wrong with the baby. And Billy. He is too busy celebrating his victory and toasting with Audra Charles. Like, are you kidding me, Audra? He is sipping expensive champagne, flashing that arrogant smirk of his, and patting himself on the back for starting a war. Completely ignoring his phone while Sally is literally having a medical emergency. I know some people are loving this ruthless Billy era and think it makes him an edgy businessman, but personally, I think he is completely irredeemable after this. You do not ignore your pregnant partner's calls, period. End of discussion. Because Billy is completely useless and unavailable, Sally ends up wandering into Chancellor Park, completely breaking down. She collapses on a bench, sobbing her eyes out, totally alone, vulnerable, and terrified. The acting in this scene was absolutely phenomenal. By the way, you could feel every single ounce of her despair, the way she was holding her stomach. It just shattered me. And just when you think she is going to have to call an ambulance for herself because her boyfriend is too busy playing corporate king with Audra, who walks up? Who is the one person who always seems to find her when she is at her lowest point? Adam Newman. Yes, Adam. I screamed. I literally threw my hands in the air and cheered, but also cried. Because of course it's Adam. It is always Adam. Adam sees her crying and doesn't even hesitate for a fraction of a second. He doesn't ask questions. He just rushes over and pulls her into this massive, desperate, all-encompassing hug. And guys, the history between them in that one embrace, it was so heavy you could cut it with a knife. You could see it in Adam's eyes. He knows exactly what those stomach pains mean. He remembers losing Ava just as vividly as she does. That trauma is permanently etched into his soul. And seeing Sally terrified about this new baby just completely broke down all his walls. He wasn't the ruthless Newman heir in that moment. He wasn't the guy spiraling about Victor's secret while leaving the company to baby Dominic. And he wasn't the guy stressing over Victor's insane demands to cover up Nick's rehab stint. He was just a grieving father comforting the woman he never really stopped loving. I mean, let's be real for a second. Adam and Sally have a connection that Billy and Sally will never have. Not in a million years. Billy is with Sally because it's convenient, and it makes him feel like a savior. It feeds his hero complex. Adam is with Sally because they are two broken people who see the absolute darkest parts of each other and love them anyway. When Adam held her in the park, you could see Sally physically melt into his arms. She felt safe. She felt understood, something she clearly does not feel with Billy right now. Adam didn't care about Chancellor. He didn't care about the corporate war. He only cared about her and that baby. But wait, because the YNR writers couldn't just give us a tender, healing moment without throwing a massive, dramatic wrench into the gears. Just as Adam and Sally are having this deeply emotional, trauma-bonded embrace, guess who comes strolling through the park? Chelsea Lawson. Oh my gosh, the look on Chelsea's face. If looks could actually kill, Sally would be 6 feet under Chancellor Park right now. Chelsea sees them hugging, and you can practically see the gears turning in her head, and they are all spinning towards absolute paranoia and destruction. Let's talk about Chelsea for a second, because I have very mixed feelings here and I am constantly contradicting myself about her. On one hand, I kinda get it. Chelsea and Adam have been trying to build this fragile little piece lately. They are co-parenting. They are dealing with the insane stress of Victor demanding they manage Nick's PR crisis. And Chelsea has even been crossing enemy lines to team up with Sienna Bacall just to keep her head above water. She is stressed to the absolute max. And in her mind, Adam is finally stable. He's finally hers again. Or at least, he's not actively obsessing over Sally Spectra anymore. They had a rhythm going. But seeing them together, seeing the intense, protective way Adam was holding Sally, Chelsea isn't just mad about a hug. She is absolutely terrified. Because Chelsea knows, deep down in her core, that Adam's ultimate weaknesses, and always will be, Sally Spectra. And more importantly, she knows about the baby. Chelsea's jealousy just exploded all over her face. You can tell she is thinking, he's going to leave me again. She is terrified that Adam is going to step in, play the hero, and try to protect Sally and this unborn baby, especially since Billy is clearly dropping the ball so spectacularly. Chelsea knows that the ghost of baby Ava still haunts Adam, and this new baby, even if it's Billy's child, is going to trigger every single protective instinct Adam has. He is not going to let Sally go through a pregnancy scare alone, and Chelsea knows that means Adam is going to be drawn right back into Sally's orbit. I am so scared of what Chelsea is going to do next. Remember the old con artist Chelsea? Remember when she faked a whole paralysis and stroke situation and framed Adam for poisoning Ray? Yeah, Chelsea goes to very dark, very crazy places when she feels threatened. And right now, she feels like her entire fragile world is about to be shattered by Sally. She is not going to take this lying down. So what is going to happen next? I am predicting an absolute disaster, and I am entirely here for it, even though my anxiety can barely handle it. Billy is eventually going to check his phone, realize he missed a massive medical emergency, and try to play the victim or overcompensate with some grand gesture, but it's going to be too late. Adam has already stepped up. Adam is going to confront Billy about ignoring Sally, and it is going to be explosive. We are talking classic Newman versus Abbott fistfight energy in the middle of the GCC. Adam is going to rip Billy to shreds for prioritizing Audra and a corporate takeover over his pregnant girlfriend. And Chelsea is going to start scheming. She is not going to just sit back and let Adam drift away. She is going to use whatever leverage she has, maybe even teaming up with someone completely unexpected to drive a wedge between Adam and Sally. I wouldn't even be surprised if she tries to use Victor's current obsession with Nick's Pierre to keep Adam distracted and away from Sally. Chelsea is a survivor, and when she feels like her territory is being encroached upon, she fights dirty. I know some fans in the group chats are probably exhausted by the Adam, Sally, Billy, Chelsea merry-go-round. I see the comments all the time, people saying just let them move on. But personally, I think this is exactly the kind of messy, deeply emotional soap opera drama we need right now. The stakes are so incredibly high. An unborn baby is involved, corporate empires are at war. And the emotional trauma of past losses is driving everyone's reckless decisions. This is peak daytime drama. I'm just so frustrated with Billy. How many times does this guy have to fail the women he claims to love before they realize he's a lost cause? Sally needs to pack her bags, take her baby, and get as far away from Billy Abbott as possible. But of course, she won't. She's going to try to make it work. Adam is going to hover protectively. Chelsea is going to spiral into toxic jealousy. And Billy is going to remain completely oblivious to the emotional wreckage he is causing until it blows up in his face. I honestly don't know if my heart can take the next few episodes. If Sally loses this baby because of Billy's stress, I will never, ever forgive the writers. They cannot do that to her again. They just can't. It would be too cruel after Ava. But with the way this show operates, anything is possible. I'm going to need a strong drink and a support group for next week's episodes, because the fallout from this bark hug is going to be nuclear. Am I overreacting? Maybe, but when you've invested years into these characters, you can't help but get worked up when they make the absolute worst decisions possible. Let me know what you guys think, because I am losing my mind over here.